Good morning, this is the Eager Beaver Show.
You are listening to a True North Eager Beaver Media Podcast. The True North Eager Beaver podcasts are proudly brought to you by our founding sponsors, the Miss V Mysteries from Corvid Moon Publishing, your source for science fiction, fantasy, and cozy mysteries featuring a broad diversity of characters. CanadianTarot.com, your uniquely Canadian online eclectic tarot community and forum, and the Pepper Master, hot pepper sauces made from fresh farm ingredients to thrill your taste buds and Well, good morning and hello, kids, and welcome to season 3 and episode number.
I can't remember what number it is. 2 something or another.
Man, you throw me. Okay.
Well, you were so close to the mic, we were getting distortion at the beginning. That's why I was like, back away.
Okay, back away from the mic. Okay.
Yeah, you were just a little too close.
All right. Well, good morning and hello, kids, and welcome to season 3 and episode number 35 of the True North Eager Beaver interview project here on the Crier Media Network. Today, recording day is Sunday, September 24th, 2023, for broadcast Monday, September 25th, 2023. And it has been a gorgeous day here at the Beaver Lodge today. I have no idea what it will be tomorrow. I haven't checked. So it'll be a mystery.
I don't even know. I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's see what it says.
While Mr. Grizzly does that, I'm your host, the Eager Beaver, pronouns he, him, hey, Mr. Beaver A. And with me, as always, as you have just heard, is my good friend, Mr. Grizzly. Big thank you goes to our podcast's founding sponsors, the Pepper Master, the Miss V Mysteries from Corvid Moon Publishing, and CanadianTarot.com. And Mr. Grizzly shows us 22 degrees Celsius for the day on Monday in the nation's capital with a nighttime temperature of 12. There you go.
It's going to be a bit 20, 21, 22 all week. But I think Tuesday overnight is going down to 6. So that's going to be a chilly walk to work on Tuesday.
Yeah, indeed. We have a very, very special interview for you today. And to be totally honest, Mr. Grizzly is the one who arranged this. So I am going to pass the baton over to my friend right there.
Thank you. Whoop, I reached the wrong way. Thank you. I got it. I appreciate that. So I was privy to a conversation that I happened over here. And in that conversation, I heard a high school student, a young high school student, 17 years of age, describing some problematic things taking place in her high school and how she was kind of bullied in a science class because apparently girls can't do science, according to some individuals, which is antithetical to what I grew up with. Because when I went to school, when I was in elementary and high school, the smartest person in every science and math class and chemistry class and biology was always a young woman. So I
Same
don't know
here.
when things flip-flopped. Like, when did that change? Like,
Mhm.
when did they start to belittle women in the sciences and the mathematics? Because, like I said, growing up for me, it was always a young woman who was the smartest one in the class and always
Mhm.
the best student in science and in math. So I don't know if I don't know what happened, but
Okay.
maybe our guest, we'll call her Miss A. Miss A will not be appearing on camera
Right.
because we don't want to have any blowback, and we're gonna I'm gonna augment her voice a little bit so it will sound different. It'll sound. Mr. Beaver, you're going to hear her real voice now. I'm
Yes.
going to change it later on in post production so that when we air it, because I don't want anything bad to happen to a
Mhm.
young lady who has shown some bravery to come forward and discuss this thing. So I will introduce her now. This is Miss A. Hello, Miss A. You are live.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm great. It's a beautiful Sunday evening. Thank you for taking part in this.
Anytime.
It's lovely
Excellent.
to be chatting with you.
So please, the story that I was privy to when you were in your science class and how could you tell us exactly what took place when it took place, please?
Yes, of course. So I'm in grade 12 chem, and we were doing a lab that day, and I unfortunately did not get the instructions to the lab. I guess my teacher gave me the wrong sheet. And so we had to do some calculations for how much of a chemical we had to put into a solution, and because I didn't have my lab sheet, I didn't have the proper information, so I got the calculations wrong. And my teacher decided to read it out loud to the class, and I was beside these three guys, and they laughed at me, and that was really embarrassing. And then later on in the lab, I had to ask around the class to know what we were doing, and I decided to ask them a specific question, and they gave me the answer, but at the end they added like, "You're so stupid. You're supposed to know this." And I was like, "Wow, do you want to do the lab for me?" And they didn't, unfortunately.
So they you had the wrong information and they made fun of you for it. And what did your teacher, your instructor, your professor, I don't know, what teacher?
Yeah, teacher.
What did your teacher say or do in this instance? Did they stand up and defend you? Did they scold the young boys for behaving in such a manner? Did the teacher take ownership of the fact that they gave you the wrong information to begin with? Like what took place after that?
I don't know if my teacher heard what they said because they didn't say
Okay.
it super loudly, and I didn't get the proper lab sheet until I had to write down my data, and he just said, "Oh, sorry, I thought I gave you the right sheet." So he didn't do much.
Uh,
Okay. But there was an acknowledgement that you did not get the right sheet.
Mm-hmm.
And did
Yeah.
that happen before or after the teacher read your answers out loud?
That happened after my teacher read my answers out loud.
oh, for crying
Oh,
out loud.
come on.
Yeah.
So
I
you're getting bullied in the class because of this. They're making fun of you, and the teacher's not taking any ownership that it was their fault that they gave you the wrong information to begin with to do the
no.
problem and solve the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Does this is this a common occurrence? Like, I mean, high school's changed a lot since I went because I graduated in 1986, long before you were born. So I'm wondering, is this a common occurrence? Is this happen a lot to young ladies in science and mathematics? Because I read about things online how they say women in STEM, science, technology, engineering, mathematics, are often discouraged from pursuing that, which I think is foolish because some of the brightest minds we've ever produced in the world in science and math have been women. And I can cite a number of them for you right now, but we don't really have the time for it. But
Yeah.
well, I'll give you one. Do you know who Jack Black, the actor, is? You familiar with
Yeah,
his
yeah, I
work?
think I
Okay.
do.
His mother was pregnant and was giving birth to Jack Black. She was an engineer for NASA. She had to come up with the proper calculations so that Neil Armstrong could touch down on the moon.
Wow.
Then she went to the hospital and gave birth.
Oh my god.
So A, that's a really cool thing, but B, it's like this is how dedicated to mathematics and engineering she was to make sure that this mission would succeed, that she was, basically holding her legs closed from giving birth to make sure this would succeed. So like I don't understand when did the sea change happen? Um, and I don't expect you to be able to answer that question. Don't get me wrong. It's just, is this a super common thing today? Because I keep reading about how young ladies are discouraged from science, technology, engineering, mathematics. And has this been your experience? Because it certainly seems to be that way.
I've had some good experiences in STEM, but I feel like a lot of women are discouraged to go into like STEM degrees and STEM courses just because they're like the minority. And I just feel like whenever a woman is a minority in an environment, it seems like they have to work twice as hard just to gain the respect that a man would gain for doing the bare minimum. So
So this is the difference between when I was your age and you're my age. You know this at 17. When I was 17, no, I didn't. I was a clueless idiot. But it's and as I've said, Mr. Beaver, 100 times before, Gen Z. I love Gen Z because they're smart, they're savvy, they know how the world works, and they're doing their best to make the changes. And I mean, we're trying to help out a little bit where we can to try and make the world a better place for the next generation, because it's not going to be an easy road for them to march down. So, we want to right the wrongs when and where we can, and at the same token, let the vast public know what's going on. And this is like you're a firsthand, not a witness. I mean, not even this happened to you. And you're saying that women are constantly discouraged from STEM, and if you get there, you got to work twice as hard just to be accepted. It's like, what the hell is going on here? This is not good. It's 2023. I mean, although we did just have that idiot march last Wednesdays about hatred. So, if you had told me 20 years ago that in 2003, hey, Paul, in 20 years, they're going to be overrun with Nazis. The people will believe that the world is flat and that vaccinations put a 5G chip in you that will make you controlled by the government.
I was wondering, when you said that you've had some good and some bad experiences, could you give us some examples of some encouragement and other types of discouragement that you've encountered?
Honestly, most of the encouragement I've had in sciences has been from female teachers. They've been very supportive and understanding, and yeah, they've just been lovely teachers. Discouragement wise, it's usually other classmates just like kind of looking down on me for not understanding something. Yeah, stuff like that.
That's not cool. What happened to encouraging one another and lifting one another up? That's really troubling. So, I want to ask you a question here, but I'm not quite sure how to word it. How did you become an NP? I guess it is. Am I getting that correct?
I don't know what an NP is.
Yeah. Okay. So, I was handed a question, and maybe it's I can't. A nurse practitioner.
Oh, why I want to go into a nurse practitioner? To be honest, I'm not entirely sure. I'm kind of just doing it for the money. But I think like helping people. I think I'd find a lot of satisfaction in making sure that people are okay, and also the money.
Well, also
love money.
Money doesn't hurt.
It doesn't hurt. And nursing is. My aunt was a nurse. She's retired now. She was a pediatric nurse, actually. So she worked with babies all the time, which can be a wonderful thing until when things go sideways. It can be really difficult. But nursing, yes, it can pay very good. It's a good living, and it's a noble living, because hospitals cannot function without nurses. Period. They cannot. Nurses run hospitals. So you'll be in charge of things in just a few years' time.
I would say, though, I do think they're definitely underpaid.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, definitely. So what was it that attracted you to the STEM field? What's your interest in it specifically?
I'm not super good at the English language. Yeah, I once read U-Haul as ooh-haul, and I've been pronouncing it that way ever since. And I've always, I don't know, I found math has come more naturally to me than anything else. So I thought, as long as I could do something that required logic, I would be happy.
Well, it's funny. Don't make light of the fact that you thought U-Haul was ooh-haul, because here's the thing that Mr. Beaver and I always say: if you mispronounce a word, it's because you've read it. And here's the thing:
not heard it yet.
Yeah, you've not heard it yet, so you read it. So it's like that should never be. Nobody should ever make fun of you for that. And in the past, I have done that to people, and somebody pointed out why I shouldn't do that, and I've made it a point to never do that again. When somebody told me, it's because you read the word. They didn't didn't know the pronunciation of it. It's like, yeah, because they took the effort, the time to read it, and try and speak. So don't worry about that. You're good. You're good. You're solid.
That's good to hear.
And the fact that you love math, I mean, that is excellent because I struggled with it horribly.
Mhm. Well, the best example, the first thing you were saying is names of cities and towns,
Mhm.
right? You read them on the map and then you go there and you ask for the town, but the people in the town pronounce it completely different. You have to be from there to know, right? So, people will laugh at you, but you don't know until you know. Um, with with the STEMs, the STEM education, um, have you noticed this happening to other girls in class as well?
Mm, I wouldn't say I've noticed any of this like discrimination happening to my friends, but I've definitely like heard a lot of stories like online and from like people's children, and just like, yeah, that they're very discouraged from going into like engineering or chemistry and stuff like that.
That's really sad.
Yeah.
Most of my coworkers are women, and we work in the IT field, IT technology, computer programming, computer languages. They are quite young. Like literally, there's some colleagues of mine and coworkers who are like 21, 22, 23, so very close to your age. So don't be discouraged. Please don't be discouraged.
Actually, I just remembered a really good example of women being kind of discriminated against in STEM. But
Mhm.
my dad had this girlfriend, and she was very good with computers, and I think she worked in IT, and she was a manager. And I remember her telling me that as a manager, she got paid less than her male coworker who she was in charge of.
Oh,
Yeah.
Pretty
There's
sad.
there's the patriarchy for you again, right?
Mhm.
So
wow.
I understand, and I hope I pronounced this correctly. I understand you're a polymath.
I don't know what polymath is.
I got to look it up actually. Sorry. I got a polymath meaning. Let me see. I got to look it up. Here's a person of great and varied learning. Oh, it means you because I understand you also are a bit of an art student,
I would
correct?
say, yeah.
You've
Oh, nice.
considered art school and writing as well.
Hmm.
Yeah, polymath definitely. I hear the word all the time, and I've heard it when it's used appropriately, but I didn't actually knew what it meant until just now. So see, I learned something today. So this is a good thing. Yeah, it's somebody who it's the Greek word for polymaths, which having learned much, with poly meaning much and mathanian meaning learn.
Oh,
A person of great and varied learning. So there you go. So yeah, you're somebody who's capable of learning multiple facets of different studies, which is cool. And
thank you.
no, you're welcome. No, but the art and the writing, I think would actually, and this is just based on my experience in the world, is if you are if those are some passions that you love to pursue and study, that will only assist you in STEM.
Yes.
Oh,
Oh yes, absolutely.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. There are lots of people. My partner has a PhD in engineering. He's basically chemical engineer by training, and he likes to sing opera because music is math.
Music is math, yeah. And
Right.
and what's he studying? He's about to take a new course.
Carpentry.
Yeah, he's going to learn carpentry.
It's also
So
math and angles and geometry and
yeah,
stuff, but it's with hands. So a lot of these things that you think at first only apply in a certain little field actually apply broader. And then when you
Mhm.
go do something completely out of that field. So like a lot of people think that science and arts are the opposite. It
no,
is.
they're not.
And they actually do blend together because there is science to art. And in science, when you're coming up with creative ideas, when you're creating new science where there wasn't any before, that is art.
That's art. Yeah, that's creativity.
Yes, all the different types of ways that you problem solve in doing one, the stuff that you do in an artistic field builds other pathways in your brain that helps you to solve problems when you're doing your science, and vice versa. What you do in science helps you understand the rhythm and patterns to your art a whole lot better so that you can perform or execute it better. So they actually help each other.
Yeah, it makes you a better student, better artist, better teacher, better scientist, whatever pathway you pursue. It's just you're going to be better at it than I'll ever be. I'll tell you that.
Mm.
I can spell pretty good, but I can't add for shit.
Well, that's all the different types of intelligence, right? You have your spatial intelligence and your movement intelligence, your mathematics and your musical intelligence, and we don't all have all of them. So
No.
we're stronger in some and weaker in other. And then there's a lot of people that go to school and they think, oh, well, I'm dumb because I
Yeah.
don't have mathematical intelligence. But, you know,
Yeah, I
you'll say
definitely.
that, yeah, you sorry.
Go
No, go ahead,
ahead.
Oh, okay.
please,
I'm sorry.
please.
I definitely say that school's kind of like it measures intelligence the way someone would measure like the ability of a fish to climb a tree.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
no, you're absolutely right. 17 and knows this. I
Someone
don't know
knows what
anything
time it
of
is.
Yeah, when I was 17, all I knew was how soon till Friday gets here because we're going to have a school dance or something. I mean, I was clueless at that age. This is what I love about this next generation because despite so many in our generation having the access to the knowledge of the world at their fingertips and not using it, the younger generation was born with it and they're using it and they're just so much more aware. Case in point, Miss A here has got her shit together and is not going to be pushed around or bullied by the system, which, yeah, like power to the people. I mean, that I respect the hell out of.
Yeah.
And again, I have no idea what is it like to be a 17-year-old lady in school today when you have to put up with something like that. It's like, you know, in our day, we would have probably just taken it, but you're not doing that. You're pushing back and fighting back and speaking out, which is, I mean, I applaud it.
Thank you.
Oh, thank
Yeah.
you, because you're helping, whether you realize it or not, you're helping people in your peer group, but you're also going to be helping the next generation by not allowing this type of behavior to continue.
I was wondering about that. What was it about that moment that made something click for you to say, you know what, I'm going to talk about this?
I don't know. It was a really embarrassing moment, and it really, I don't know, it just pissed me off. I don't like being humiliated in front of other people. I don't think anyone does. And
That's my
yeah,
button.
I kind of wanted to seek vengeance, low key.
I love it.
Hey, no, but here's the thing. It's honest, right? Because if someone does you wrong, wanting vengeance is human,
Yes.
right? The thing is, what do you do with that emotion afterwards? This is constructive.
Yes. This is constructive.
That's
This will
taking
inform
that and
people.
channeling it into something constructive, into something positive, taking that energy and redirecting it to something that's good.
And a lot of the viewers and listeners to this program are parents and have children in high
Yes.
school and elementary school and might not be aware that this is taking place. I'm sure many of them do. I'm not saying anybody doesn't, but I'm sure some people would be surprised to find out that this is taking place today. So by you coming forward like this to speak out, you're helping a lot more people than you could possibly imagine.
Oh, well, that makes me feel pretty good.
Awesome.
Yeah. I'm wondering, given that this has happened with that particular teacher, where you didn't get the proper instructions, and even though this person knew you didn't have the proper instructions, then took your copy, which they should have reasonably expected to know would probably be wrong, given you didn't have the instructions, and read it out to the class. There should be a relationship of trust between a teacher and a student of some kind. Like how do you feel about still being in that class?
To be honest, I don't like my teacher that much. He's a very sweet person, but his teaching style definitely doesn't agree with me.
Okay.
I don't know. I feel like he could be more cautious and careful. Like, I don't understand why there was one sheet without the instructions. That doesn't make any sense to me. And I feel like maybe he could have not read my miscalculation out loud. Could have just said, "Hey, that's wrong."
Yeah, like
Seems like a minimum.
it's almost like he went out of his way to humiliate you. I mean, I'm just speculating. I don't know. I don't know the person. I don't know the school or anything like that. But it just seems that the knowledge that he had and he still did that. That's pretty.
Yeah.
It's greasy.
Yeah, like I said. Are you is speaking out like this in this way, so that can go out and help people, the thing that you want to do, or are you at the moment still considering whether or not you'd like to maybe complain more formally?
Mm, I think I'd rather kind of complain anonymously. I don't like to start drama. I'm just gonna let this slide.
You don't want to be targeted or
Yeah.
and it, yeah, it's I understand.
All the choices
really
are
do.
good there, right?
Yes.
There's no bad choice there. It's the one you're ready for at the moment, because each one comes with consequences. You complain, and sometimes everything works out, and sometimes it doesn't. And the thing is that when you make that decision, you have to be ready for whatever's going to come, like one way, whether it's a good result or a bad result. Once you put it out into the universe, you don't control it anymore, right? So it's like you have to be ready for something good or something bad. But if you're ready and you see whatever happens, I'm going to be okay, then you go. But if you're not ready for it, there's absolutely nothing wrong with, like, the commendable thing here is that you're doing what you can with how ready you are. So it's still helpful. But even if you weren't ready at all, that would still be fine, because where you are is where you need to be at that moment, especially when it's still fresh. Yeah.
It's just there's a level of intelligence, awareness, and bravery that we just simply didn't have when we were that age.
No.
I mean, we really didn't.
No.
So Miss A, I mean, I like you. You impress me. You impress me by how aware you are of what took place, of what actually happened. That would have sailed right over my head at that age. I would not have clued in. And I still sometimes miss stuff that people point out to me, and then I get really mad, and then I yell and I put on my blue jacket and scream at people. But but the thing is, this is like your generation is just. I'm so impressed by it. I'm so impressed by, you're a 17-year-old lady, 17-year-old girl, young lady, young woman. But you're focused on doing good, being good, and not letting people push you around. And at the same time, as Mr. Beaver just said, you're ready to deal with it in the way that you're ready to deal with it. And there's no hard, fast rules on how you need to do that, because it's up to you on how you accept and roll with it. Because it's not easy to confront the system, as you well know.
It's not that I recently had an experience, and it's I mean, it gets stored in the body for a few days like this. I don't know if you were after that happened, if you felt like you were sort of like vibrating for a while.
Oh yeah, I was definitely angry.
Yeah.
Is this somewhat of a sort of a release of that anger when you're able to come out and talk about it like this in a semi-private, semi-public forum? And I say semi-private is because you're not going to be seen on camera. We're not going to mention your name or where the school is or anything like that. So we can give you some anonymity. But does it feel somewhat of a relief to be able to talk about it and let people know that this is what happens?
Yeah, it's definitely a relief. I feel like it's important to raise awareness towards these kind of injustices, and just like talking about things when you're mad always kind of helps you calm down.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
If you had some advice for teachers teaching STEM classes as to what to watch out for and what they could do to maybe make the class more welcoming, what would you suggest?
That's a good question. Definitely if someone messes up, don't, make it public to the rest of the class. I feel like a lot of kids my age suffer from anxiety and social stress, and that is just making it a whole lot worse. And maybe like if they see like any sort of discrimination going on in the classroom, like just have a little chat with the students, make sure that they know what they did was wrong, and
Right. And for parents who may be listening, what do you think that they should look out for if maybe one of their kids is being bullied in a manner similar, but they're not ready to talk about it yet?
I think, even if people try to hide their true feelings, it definitely comes out in other ways. So like aggression or sadness. I don't know. Just make sure that your kid is okay and check in on them every once in a while.
When I tell you this generation, man, I'm blown away by it all the time. All the time. Like yesterday, before we started the podcast, there was a gentleman sitting at the table around the corner from us, and he was having a conversation, talk about how his grandkids, he says, a lot of people my age go on and on about these new generation Z kids or blah, blah, blah. And he goes, I tell them all to shut up because these kids are smart. They're aware. They know what's going on much more than we ever did at their age. And that generation, your generation, Miss A, your generation is going to change the world and make it a better place.
Oh, I hope so.
Well, you're standing up for your rights, and the thing that strikes me the most is the fact that you realize what took place.
Mhm.
We didn't have that self-actualization.
Yeah. I mean, you're doing at 17 what some people only start doing at 37 or 47, and some people don't even learn at all along the way.
It's
Some people
true.
don't
It's
learn the lesson.
absolutely true.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's absolutely true. And you got to remember our generation too. We were you did whatever we were told. And if that happened in the class, and it did happen to me, you just rolled with it. You didn't you didn't complain. You just accepted it and moved on. And I think the difference being today is that your generation is aware of what's going on. You're aware of when somebody is doing something bad, because we were kind of clueless,
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you guys aren't.
I definitely feel like social media has kind of made my generation more aware
Mhm.
of social justice issues.
Mhm.
So the tolerance for like racism, homophobia, sexism is definitely like people don't tolerate that stuff.
That's good.
There are like a couple of kids, but they're definitely a minority.
Mm-hmm. Could I know it's slightly off topic, but given that we just had that march, I know what probably the answer is, but since we have you, all the things that these people are saying that is being taught in schools, or let's do it this way. What have you been taught in school with regard to either gay people or transgender people?
My school's pretty good. We have a GSA,
Mhm.
and we make sure to. I think it was the first day of school. We tell the teacher what pronouns we like to use and our preferred names. And my school's definitely very open and accepting of the queer community.
That's awesome.
Hmm
Okay, and have you heard some of the people talk about some of the things they say that you are being taught in school?
Oh, how they're like against it and how they think that like us being taught about the LGBTQ plus community is like corrupting us or something.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah. No, definitely not. I think it's just making people more accepting and more empathetic. I think if you're able to kind of understand people from different walks of life, I think you're just kind of a better person. And it's kind of funny because I know in Florida that's like their argument that like they shouldn't teach gay stuff because it's like corrupting the children, but then they go and they teach them like Christian propaganda and stuff, so it's like a little bit hypocritical.
Yeah, no kidding, right?
Hmm
Do you have, without revealing identities or and stuff, do you happen to have friends in your circle who, if that policy was in place, that if at the beginning of the year they asked for certain pronouns and they were under the age of 16, for example, that the school would have to tell the parents? Do you know some
Oh,
kids
yeah.
that would be not comfortable with that?
Definitely. I think that outing people to their parents is the worst thing you could do to someone. Like they could end up on the street. They could really ruin their life.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And this is important to have this conversation, because we try to attack that parade of hatred head on, and let people know that they're reading pornography to them in school. I'm like, no, they're not. That's not what's happening. They're just trying to be respectful of each individual. And I assume your school doesn't have the policy of notifying the parents.
No, I don't think it does.
Good. Because like you just said, that could be really bad.
Hmm
Really bad. And any child that is in school that is you don't know who you are when you're 10 or 11 years old for the most part. You may find yourself attracted to the same sex, but you don't know that it's gay, that it's straight. You don't know that until you get to be a little bit older, and then you realize, okay, I am attracted to the same sex, or I feel that I was born in the wrong body. And I think a lot of students, and I have no idea what it would be like to be that because I'm cishet white male, right? But I think a lot of students would struggle with their identity. And, if they can be who they are amongst their peer group and their teachers, an adult in a position of authority can be respectful of that, I think that would probably, just speculating here, probably make their life a little bit easier to live on a day-to-day basis. Because, these were things that when I was in high school, I'm sure there were some gay students, but everybody was closeted back then. In the 1980s, it was just, people were just petrified and paranoid. It's like sometimes, you prefer gender and you like, when I was 2 years old, 3 years old, actually, I remember looking at a pretty girl in a bikini on the beach, and I knew I liked to look at it. I didn't know why, but I knew I liked it. So I guess technically speaking, at 3 years old, I knew I was straight, but I didn't know straight, gay, none of that. I just knew that I liked to look at pretty girls when I was 3. And a friend of mine told me he liked to look at boys when he was 4 years old. And he was attracted to boys at that age. So he knew he knew, but he didn't know, if that makes any sense. I don't know. It's difficult for me to stick handle through because it's not my experience, right? I'm just the boring cishet white male. But I'm sure you have like you say, you have a GSA. Is it Gay Straight Alliance? Is that what it stands for?
Yeah, I think so. Or it might be the Gender Sexuality Alliance.
Okay.
It's either one of the two.
Yeah. And that was something that didn't exist when I was in school.
No, not at all.
It just didn't exist. And I did have teachers that were gay, and I knew they were, but they never discussed their private lives.
Right.
And their partner was never, ever discussed. And has that changed today? Do students know, I'm sure, that their teachers, some teachers are gay, some aren't, or whatever the case, trans or whatever the case is? Like, I don't.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I remember he's my favorite French teacher ever. He did a little slideshow about himself at the start of the year, and he showed his husband, and he was completely open with it. And yeah, people are it's definitely easier to come out in this day and age. People are more tolerable.
Well, and that's that's a good thing, because why should he have to hide who he is? Right? I mean, straight married teachers would talk about their spouse in the past, in my time. So if if you're same-sex marriage, if you have a husband or wife. Wow, I'm really struggling with words right now.
You are, yes.
I'm trying to get it out. But it's like, you should be able to be who you are, and we have that enshrined in our charter rights. And as a matter of fact, our Prime Minister just the other day came out in protection of marginalized communities, I guess would be the best term. A term that is a community that is marginalized, and now you have a group of people trying to marginalize them even further, and they're preaching hatred. And he said he wanted no part of that, that we are an inclusive, pluralistic nation, and that is a good thing. And of course, we'll discuss what Pierre Poilievre had to say about that at a later date, but
yeah,
we don't want to discuss that right now.
No.
But what I'm trying to get, sorry, apologies, one second, Mr. Beaver. What I'm really trying to get at here is like how much the world has changed in a better manner, in that students just accept things for the way they are. Like, I understand that gender fluidity in high school today is just, no big deal. Like, it's not even a thing. Like, you don't even think about it. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is that the case, Miss A?
Yeah, about so. I'd say it's 50-50. There are definitely some maybe transphobic people, but then there are people who are perfectly happy using the right pronouns and completely support it.
That's awesome. And like you said, it's largely the minority of the groups that would be transphobic.
Yeah.
Very small minority. And it's oftentimes it's fear, or maybe what they've been taught in the home. Who
Definitely.
knows? Right.
Yeah. If you were Premier of Ontario, because what would you make as law to make things better either well, for both, for us, ladies and young girls that want to study STEM, and to make schools more welcoming.
I definitely make it like a requirement to hire like a specific amount of women in STEM places.
Okay.
What else? In terms of school, I think overall schools do a pretty good job, but just like definitely there should be less tolerance for any like misogynistic comments heard by teachers. I feel like teachers should definitely be like obliged to talk to the students.
So, hang on. Let's open up that can of beer there, shall we? So, they overhear comments from students that are rather sexist, misogynistic, and they just let it go.
Oh yeah, teachers hear everything,
and they don't ever speak up.
Nope. Sometimes
Wow.
I don't think so. I've never had a teacher speak up.
Wow, there's a definite change in the wrong direction from when we were in school,
Yes.
because back then you did not speak like that in a classroom or even in the school.
Oh yeah.
If a teacher was within earshot and they heard you say something sexist or racist or homophobic, you were getting marched down to the office immediately. So I think there's where things have changed for the negative. And now that might have to do with the fact that in our day, if say I told a sexist joke and a teacher overheard it, they'd send me to the principal's office. The principal would call my mother, and my mother would say, "Give him more detention and wait till he gets home." Right. But today, oftentimes the parents will just, "Well, why did you do that to my little Billy?"
Yeah, I definitely think that's a part of it.
Yeah,
Sorry.
definitely back on. I think the pendulum. It's a pendulum swing, because back in the day, the teacher was always right, even if the teacher was wrong. The parent always took the teacher's side. That kind of changed a bit.
Yes, definitely changed.
And not for the good. I mean,
Yeah.
the pendulum swung too far when it comes to that. But that's astonishing for both of us to hear that. A teacher would hear that and just let it go. I did notice a few years ago when I was working, doing some putting Wi-Fi systems in different high schools. We did it overnight and usually in the summertime, but we'd have to go back and do repairs. And oftentimes it would have to be in the daytime so we could, figure out why it wasn't working correctly. So we'd stand in the hallway, and when the students were changing classes, and then when they went back, we would just go about our work. But I was standing in a classroom just before it started, and I had like 2 or 3 minutes, and I overheard multiple conversations, and it was like, they're dropping F-bombs and mofos, and the teacher was right there at the desk and just let it go. And I was astonished.
Oh yeah, I swear a lot in chemistry class. It's very frustrating.
See, we like, to the principal's office, you're getting the strap. That's what would happen to. Yeah, I never got the strap because I was more afraid to upset my Irish Catholic mother than I was of getting the strap or pissing off the teacher.
Damn you, uranium! No.
The Irish Catholic guilt is what it was, you see. But here's the thing: that's a pendulum swing that I would not have ever predicted. And again, when I experienced that, and that was like 10 years ago, I was like, "Oh my goodness, I can't believe this is happening." And I guess it hasn't changed. So maybe it has to do with that. In our day, the teacher was right, and the parent would be on the side of the teacher, and now it's sort of flip-flopped. It's a strange new world we're living in, isn't it?
Definitely.
What grade are you in again?
I'm in grade 12.
Grade 12. So this is your last year. Okay.
Yep.
Wonderful.
Yeah. Then you're gonna take a gap year or two, maybe.
Yeah, I have some stuff to figure out.
Well, and that's good because, in my day, it was like you'd finish high school and go right into university or college or cégep and then on to university, which, in all honesty, I think that was a bad idea.
Yeah.
You don't know who you are, so how are you supposed to make a choice about who you're going to be for the rest of your life at such a young age? I think a gap year or 2 gap years would. I think at one point I disagreed with it. Now I'm fully on board with it because it helps you to discover who you are as a person, and you're going to experience how the world works. So when I think most people at 18 are not mature enough to go to university, and here's why I say that, and I'm sure Mr. Beaver can agree with me on this one. In high school, if you showed up and you didn't have your paper written for that day, you'd get scolded and punished. In university, if you showed up, you don't have your paper that day, they don't care. They don't give a damn. They just fail you. And I think, right out of high school, going in from one extreme to the other is probably very, very problematic and difficult for a lot of students, which is why you see the dropout rate after the first semester for a lot of students. Because they just can't get used to this new way of doing things. So yeah, taking a couple of years, a year or maybe 2 years to travel, work, experience the world. I think that's a great idea. So, like I said, your generation's got so much more figured out at such a young age than ours ever did.
I was wondering, do you have any plans or ideas for what you'd like to do with the gap year or years?
I definitely plan on traveling and getting a visa to work somewhere.
Okay.
I was thinking of volunteering at a dog shelter in Thailand because I love dogs.
Okay.
And I heard Thailand has really good food.
It really does.
I've never had a chance to go yet. That's the first place in Asia I would probably go would be Thailand, and specifically for the food.
Well, and I think I understand the cost of living there is quite reasonable. So as a student, that's probably one of the best places you could go. How would your mom and dad feel about that, though? I'm sure they'd be a little bit worried because, sending our daughter off to another part of the world at that age, I'm sure it'd be frightening for them.
I'd definitely bring a friend.
Oh, that would be a good idea.
And I hit the gym, so I feel like I could at least take down 2 people.
Awesome. Well, and you're quite athletic. I understand you play field hockey as well?
Yeah, play is a strong word. I try my best.
Yeah.
Well, did you played rugby at one point, did you?
I did. That was very scary.
Yeah.
But hey, that's a hell of a sport to play. It's a hell of a sport. What else? What other sports do you like to do in school?
I just started joining sports teams this year.
Okay.
But I used to be really big into hockey. That was good. That was a nice time in my life. And I was a rock climber for a good couple of years.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's badass. I love rock climbing. I haven't been in a while, but I absolutely love it.
It's a very peaceful sport.
Yeah, it is. Oops.
Well, yeah, I could see that, right? Because there's just, you have to be completely and totally focused on what you do because you can't have a slip. So you have to just mentally, not just a slip on the rocks, but mental slip. You have to be really, really focused on the now and totally in the moment. I remember when I my sport back in the day was swimming, and I was a distance swimmer. So you're doing a 1,500 meters, and after about like the 10th lap, it's just your body just sort of goes on autopilot, and you hear the swoosh, swoosh, swoosh over your ears, and so there comes the wall, flip turn, and then swoosh, swoosh, and after a while, it just becomes sort of meditative. And when you're done, it's sort of like you competed, but you just feel so relaxed because it was just this repetitive sound. And it's just, so I can imagine right in the moment, just completely focused. That it's a different feeling.
Yeah.
Good
it's
stuff.
such a challenge to rock climbing. Like it's you're not competing with anybody but yourself.
Right.
Like you're not competing with another person. It's like literally you look at it and go, I want to be able to climb that wall or that rock face. Now, did you do outdoor rock climbing or just in a rock climbing gym?
Oh, I did a mix.
Oh, wow.
Mix.
See,
Nice.
I've never done outdoor. I've only ever done a gym. So
It was
You've got me beat.
pretty scary.
Oh yeah, I can imagine. But I loved rock climbing. It was so much fun. I don't know if I could still do it. My knees and back are a little bit worn out. but I'd absolutely loved doing it. Going to the rock climbing gym. It was an adrenaline rush to challenge yourself to be able to do it. So yeah, full points to you. Like full salute. My goodness.
I've never tried it. I've never tried. I wouldn't say I have a fear of free fall.
Don't take it up now. Don't take it up now. I started when I was 40.
Miss A, before we go, is there anything else, any message that you'd like to maybe leave? I don't know, either for other students or something that you would like us, once this interview is over, for the people who are listening, the one thing that you would like them to remember.
That's a very good question. I'll have to think on that one. I don't have anything kind of related to like being a woman in STEM, but I have a little philosophical quote that I could drop.
Cool. Please.
I definitely think I don't know. I used to compare myself to other people a lot, and like I used to feel like I was falling behind in life. But you know, kind of like rock climbing, life is just about competing with your past self and trying to be a better person.
So profound for 17. Like, I'm not like I'm blown away by this. This is like
Yeah.
I'm just an idiot. That's just so profound. How to have that much insight into yourself at that age is mind blowing to me. Thank you for coming forward. Thank you for spending the time with us to chat today. We really do appreciate it. And if you want to come on sometime in the near future, have another chat with us. Let us know what's going on with your life and how things are going in your studies in STEM. And we'd love to have you back.
Or if something's happened in the world and you have a strong opinion.
Yeah.
Oh, I have lots of opinions.
Well, see, we're and that's the other thing. We're always looking for insight from people in different walks of life than us, because
and different age groups than us.
Different age groups too, because you're going to see things differently than we do. So, yeah, we'd love to have you back if you want to come in and talk about whatever's on your mind. We're happy to have you.
That'd be nice. Well, thank you so much for having me.
It was great.
Thank you so much. And I have to repeat echo Mr. Grizzly's sentiment. I'm impressed by your insight, and thank you for trusting us with this. We really appreciate it. Coming forward is never easy, so I don't know if you had some butterflies
and jumping up and down when you started.
Yeah,
you didn't sound nervous at all.
You didn't sound
at all.
Nothing is going to sound nervous at all. When you listen back to it, you're going to be quite
quite
pleased with what you've put out there. And just let you know, because I have a background in performing, the butterflies are actually a really good thing. If you don't have them, that's a bad sign. You're probably overconfident. Yes. Yeah, you're probably overconfident, and you're going to screw up. That butterflies lets you know that you care about doing a good job. It makes you just that little more aware, so that you're on your game.
You're concerned, you're dialed in, and you're connected. Yeah.
Oh, well, that's good.
Be grateful for the butterflies.
Yes. Well, thank you once again. I'm going to let you go, but Mr. Beaver and I'll close out the show. You can stay in and listen in. I'm just going to put you on mute so you can enjoy the rest of the show.
Okay. Wow.
Wow is right. Like, my goodness gracious. How insightful at that age. Like really insightful, dialed in, paying attention, on the ball. Like,
and how would I put it? It's not the quantity of words.
Yeah, because I can speak forever and say nothing.
But no, we don't give a list of questions.
No.
Right. So when I just dropped on the question, would you have advice for teachers in their classroom? Would you have? It is to not see that coming. And it's clear that she's thought about these things.
Oh yeah. Like, well thought out.
Yes.
And again, we don't, there's no list of questions.
Yeah.
We're very free form when we interview, right?
Well, yeah, because she said something that made me think of that. Oh, I should ask that, right? So you generally have like one or two opening sort of questions to help warm stuff up, and then the rest of it is you just go where the conversation goes. Yeah,
exactly.
So yeah, I like, that's the part that I really liked, the fact that, and also that Miss A was willing to go on to the territory of what was happening with the march as well, because that was not the original purpose of the interview as well. And the insights
to get the insight from somebody that age, I think, is important, though. Somebody who is actually living it, to give us that insight, is really important.
Right. Because
we've been the ones saying this isn't happening, and we just had somebody tell us, no, that's not happening.
Yeah. Kids, Cubs, if you're listening at home, if you would like more content like this, if you appreciate content where we have guests from younger generation, please do let us know. Like I said, this is your show as well as ours, so your feedback is really important. Mr. Grizzly, do we have a show?
We do indeed, sir. We do indeed.
All right, kits and cubs. That's the end of this episode of the True North Eager Beaver interview project. And of course, our daily morning show. We hope that you love listening to us because we loved making this for you. And because sharing is caring and word of mouth is absolutely priceless, you have the words that we want people to hear. So tell your peeps and poops about us. And because democracy is something that you do, well, remember, you can now vote by anticipation in the Manitoba election. So if you're out there, make your plan to vote. Make your plan to vote early if you can. And remember, friends do not let friends vote alone. So when you vote, bring people with you. And if you can, bring people with you who did not vote last time. Voting's a good habit to get into, right? So yes. Also, if you can donate to the Red Cross, please, to help our brothers and sisters throughout Canada who are still dealing with wildfires, or if you want to support the Moroccan community, because the government of Canada is matching up to $3 million donations over there. And also, I believe Air Canada is still doing the double matching if you're donating to the Red Cross for the wildfire. So this is time to get more bang for your buck. And of course, as always, write your MPs, your MLAs, your senators, and your media to tell them that you demand better. If you would like to subscribe to our show and such that you do not miss an episode whatsoever, then that squiggly that's just appeared right under my shoulder, that's our QR code that brings you to our pod page, sponsored by the Ray Girl. And if you're listening, that's podpage.com/the True North Eager Beaver, lowercase letters with a hyphen between each one of those words. You subscribe, and we'll come right to you. And since you're subscribing, because I know Kit Elaine is listening this morning, and she's telling you, you need to smash those buttons. Like, share, and subscribe. We have 3 of them for you to smash with. So, get that finger clicking. Make sure you warm up, though, because you don't want to sprain it. That's a lot of clicking in a short amount of time. So just make sure you do your warm up exercises. And just hey,
warm it up.
Practice safe subscribing.
Wear rubber gloves.
So yes, that's our True North Eager Beaver YouTube, of course, channel. So please go there. And if you like what we do and like to encourage us to do more, please, I'm sure that a little squiggly is going to appear by Mr. Grizzly's head right there. And that will bring you to our coffee page. Okay. I can't see it on the screen, but there we go. Our coffee page, that's KO-, there you go. ko-fi.com/eagerbeaver, all in lowercase letters and all in one word. And that's where you, meet, the Beaver Lodge Emergency Hydration Fund. And that's where you can help with your hard-earned dollars, which we very much appreciate. Buy us a coffee or a Guinness or a Caesar or hot chocolate or some Farm Boy gluten-free ice cream chocolate chip sandwich.
That sounds like too much.
Yum. Please. I haven't had one all summer yet. Please. And summer's over, so I've been a very good beaver.
It is autumn, yes.
Yes, it is autumn. But that's where you go, and you can make a contribution there. And of course, we appreciate every contribution, and it goes back into the show so that we can produce a better product for you. We don't really drink it all.
No.
From the Beaver Lodge, this is your Eager Beaver saying, kids, it could be a tough world out there. So please be kind to and gentle with yourself. And specifically, because we're talking about Miss A, there are people out there that will just every now and then want to make your day crappy. Please remember that nobody can make you feel bad about yourself without your permission.
That's true.
Don't surrender the power.
The old rhyme I used to hear: I'm rubber, you're glue. Whatever you say bounces off of me and sticks to you.
Yes, when somebody says something mean, yes, ouch. But after the ouch, what you do with it. That's your power.
Mhm.
Don't give it up. Don't give people permission to bring you down just because they've had a bad day.
Exactly.
Right? So, Mr. Grizzly, some words of wisdom, please.
Yeah. If you know a young person, if you know a student, have a conversation with them.
Mm.
If you're a parent, maybe not telling you how to parent, not even suggesting, but maybe have a conversation with your children or their friends about what we just talked about. Because you know what? I learned a whole bunch of new things today.
Mm.
You can learn too. Because you're not in that walk of life anymore. So how are you going to expect to know what it's like? Because it's nothing like when it was in our day. So yeah, have a chat with a student.
We have as grown-ups, we have a few things to unlearn.
That's correct. We have many things to unlearn.
Yes, and the kids do have stuff to teach.
It's absolutely
It goes
true.
both ways.
Yeah, it does go both ways. Yeah.
All right. Mr. Grizzly, please roll those credits. You are listening to a True North Eager Beaver Media Podcast. The True North Eager Beaver podcasts are proudly brought to you by our founding sponsors, the Miss V Mysteries from Corvid Moon Publishing, your source for science fiction, fantasy, and cozy mysteries featuring a broad diversity of characters. CanadianTarot.com, your uniquely Canadian online eclectic tarot community and forum, and The Peppermaster, hot pepper sauces made from fresh farm ingredients to thrill your taste buds and expand your mind. Kids, just a little bit of good news for you from our tennis players. Alexis Galarneau, who did so well at the Davis Cup, his next tournament went all the way to the final. There you go.
I had my mute on, my mic and mute, my mute on mic, my mic and mute. That's awesome.
That's awesome. So he climbed up into the rankings. He's now well ensconced into the top 200. And Marina Stakusik, who had a breakthrough at the National Bank Open, she just won her tournament.
Oh, fantastic.
Yep.
Wow.
So way to go. And a big thank you, of course, to Miss A.
Yes, thank you once again, Miss A, for enlightening us and enriching us.
Yes.
Talk to you soon.
Take it easy.